Hi everyone, it's Az here from HeelvsBabyface. You've requested it. I am your humble servant. From here on in, every Sunday, we're going to get a review of New Who. We did Rose a week last Thursday, and now we're going to do episode 2, The End of the World. Hello there. So, Rose was a great introduction story, not only to Doctor Who and people who were maybe a little bit rusty about the franchise and the series, but it was a great way to really reconnect with the companion and how important the companion aspect is to Doctor Who, because, as I keep having to stress, they are the human element. They are us. We put ourselves in their position and we see it through our eyes. This second episode, not as good as the opening one, but it has tremendous moments in it. Absolutely tremendous moments in it. The plot is very basic, but really, this episode is about Alien. I mean, the alienness of everything. Rose got caught up in this big mystery in the first episode, and the romance of travelling in time and space with this guy. But this episode is about the realisation that she's completely out of her depth and she doesn't even know who she's with. So, with that said, there's some awesome elements here. So it starts off with the Rose and the Doctor, literally straight after the ending of Rose. And he's saying, where do you want to go? And she's like, 100 years into the future. And he's like, douche, done. Outside that door, 21, blah, blah, blah. What, 2205, whatever. But he's like, that's boring. Let's go further. 10,000 years in the future. And he goes on and on and on. New Roman Empire, da-da-da-da. And then he's just like, let's go for it. Because he's trying to impress her. She's just like, you trying to impress me? She's like, yeah. He's like, whatever. She's like, all right then. I know where we'll go. Ramps up the TARDIS. 5 billion years in the future. Step out the doors. So she steps out the doors and you're automatically thinking you might be going somewhere absolutely incredible. But she just seems to go to this space station. And when we open up the window, we see Earth, 5 billion years in the future. So what's so important? Today is the day the Earth dies. It's the end of the world. Now, obviously, science, this would not be how it looked if this was going to be a case. Because, of course, the sun is going to expand and expand and expand. And so the world will be long over before it even gets to the point of explosion in reality, in actuality. So they actually do address this. And they say that the sun's expansion has been held back via gravity fields, gravity satellites, which have been placed by the National Trust, which is a British thing here. So it gives us Brits a bit of a giggle. But the funding's run out, all the money's run out, and now it's time to just let things happen. And the Doctor is really sort of happy and proud and thinks this is a great thing to show off. And Rose is mortified. Absolutely mortified. This is the end of the world. This is the end of her planet. And again, this is what shows the alienness of the Doctor. He looks human, dresses human, talks human, but he's alien. He's very, very alien indeed. So while he thinks he's been a great host, date, whatever, Rose is just absolutely destroyed. Then we go into the credits after he tells her it's the end of the world. So she's like, what's going on then? So he talks about what I've just mentioned about how the National Trust held things back. But now that it's gone, the sun is going to just quickly expand. And then within 30 odd minutes or so, no more Earth. Then we get the curator. It's not the curator. I can't remember what it's called. But this guy who's organised this event where dignitaries are coming to this space station, which is protected by force fields and whatnot, to watch the end of the world, to watch the destruction of the planet. This is where we see the psychic paper, I think for the first time. And the Doctor explains it to Rose. It's a little bit psychic. Shows people what they want to see. I had a psychic paper once. I don't anymore. It was fun. Anyway, move on. And then we get the introduction of various aliens. Trees, or things that originally. Face of Bo. Face of Bo comes back. And they're all giving gifts. The repeated meme. 2005. And they're talking about the repeated meme. Oh my goodness me. They would have fit perfectly into 2020. And they're handing out gifts. And the Doctor, he's given the gift of air from his lungs, which of course the trees really like, because the trees take in carbon dioxide and produce oxygen. Boom! Science! And these guys are giving out these silver spheres. Little silver balls, ladies. And then we get the last human. And the last human is Zoe Wanamaker. I think it's Zoe Wanamaker. And she plays Cassandra. And this is the last human. Now, we do know that humans are colonized out there. So she's technically not going to be the last human. So imagine it's the last human from Earth itself. But of course, Chibs and everyone has done plenty to retcon all that nonsense. Anyway, whatever. It's Cassandra, played by Zoe Wanamaker. And so she's got 2 moisturiser guys with her who squirt her with moisturiser to keep her nice and supple. And Rose is just completely freaking out now. And I love this. This is great, again, because Rose is human. This is what Doctor Who hasn't done for a long, long time. Whenever we get companions now and the Doctor takes you on these crazy adventures, everybody just accepts everything. And I know it'd be very difficult to always do that completely out of your depth story. But it doesn't help once in a while to refresh that notion in people. And Rose is literally freaking out. She's seeing all these alien races. She's never seen anything like this before. She's never time traveled before. You know, she thought it was just going to be this fantastical adventure with this guy. And I don't think I mentioned this in the Rose review, but I need to mention it here. It's perfectly clear that Rose has huge daddy issues. And Rose is approximately 19 in the series. And the Doctor, of course, is the Doctor. And he looks middle-aged, 40-odd years old. That's how old he looks. That's how old Christopher Eccleston was when he recorded this. So he is theoretically, very theoretically, old enough to be her daughter in the series if we worked off a 40-year-old and a 19-year-old. He would have been 21 at the time, 2021. So Rose does have daddy issues, which become clear later on in the series. And it makes sense why she gravitates so much to the Doctor and why this kind of romance builds up between her and the Doctor towards the latter part of the series. Just something I wanted to touch upon. And I think there's nothing wrong with exploring stories like that, because when it does explore the death of a father and going back and changing things, it's a very, very powerfully told narrative. And people have issues. We have all kinds of issues, money issues, health issues, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I liked it. It makes sense. And when stuff makes sense, it's good. So Rose freaks out and leaves the room because she's just absolutely out of a tree here. And the Doctor tries to go after her. He's keeping an eye on her, but at the same time, for him, this is normal. So he's not quite appreciating because of the alienness of him, and he is very detached from humanity at this moment in time with this current Doctor. That he's just kind of like, yeah, everything's fine, everything's normal. He's not even thinking that this could be complete and utterly bemusing, frightening to this young girl. Then the tree scans him, and we realise later, of course, that the scans identify him as Time Lord. Rose tries to get some time on her own. This maintenance crew member turned out basically to be a plumber. They need permission to talk. Rose gives permission to talk. They have a nice little conversation where Rose literally tells her about her fears. She's like, oh, why are you here, ma'am? And all this kind of stuff. And Rose just goes off on this, I don't know, I'm here. I don't know. I'm completely away from where I should be, 5 billion years away. I'm with a guy I don't even know. And I've run away with him. And she's literally verbalizing her complete, what would be, lack of judgment. She got caught up in the moment. Now she's 5 billion years in the future with a bunch of aliens and a planet about to explode. And she doesn't have a clue who the person she is with is. But this is set up. This is all set up for the end payoff, which is wonderful. Where we start to get to know what's happened with the Doctor and then the revelation of who he is to Rose at the end. So they have a chit chat. Rose goes away. The maintenance person looks into the shafts. The little itty bitty creatures which have come out of these metal spheres drag her away. She's a goner. Then we go to the curator's office. He's kind of like, what's going on here? Something's a little bit weird. Don't worry, people. Everything's fine. Rose needs time on her own because she's absolutely freaked out. The little robot thing cracks out of the sphere, starts to do his business. The Doctor just comes in nonchalantly, and Rose starts to talk about her fears, which is everything is really alien, like really alien. And this kind of offends the Doctor because, number one, the Doctor is alien to her. Even though they look the same species, they're not. She's human, he's Time Lord. So he kind of gets a bit defensive and a bit angry about this. And she's going on about how I didn't realise aliens would be so alien. So they're both defensive. And then she tries to push him about where he's from. And he gets ultra defensive now. And they start having an argument. And because, of course, he's not ready to discuss what's happened with the Time Lords and Gallifrey. So Rose is actually the person here who exhibits the better judgment. She realises that they're both defensive. She realises that they've had a spat. They don't know each other. She realises she might have said something that is very personal to him. And so she says, look, my friend Sharish always said, never argue with the designated driver. It's great. It's a great line. There are so many wonderful RTD, beautiful lines in this. It's like, there's one point where he says, don't go anywhere, where she's trapped in this room later. And she's like, where do you expect me to go? Ipswich? I'm stuck on a space station 5 billion years in the future. Where am I going to go? So things like that are just funny. So she just Rose diffuses the situation, and it's awesome. And then she brings out her phone. She's just like, it's 5 billion years, everyone's gone. And then the Doctor changes the battery pack so she can call back through time, and she has a little chat with her mum. And he's, oh, what have I done? What have I done now? And then she's just going on about her life as normal. And it's a great moment. And then I'm going to call him the curator. It's not the curator. I forget what title they gave him. The steward, maybe. I think it's the steward. The steward, one of the creatures comes in, deactivates the heat shield, and he gets crispy fried chickened. So he's now gone. So the plumber's gone. He's now gone. The Doctor realises that there's something up. So he says to the tree, let's help out. And again, this is another wonderful alien moment. he goes straight to somebody who is more in control, more aware than Rose. Because he doesn't trust his companion yet. He doesn't really know her yet. So why would he? Because to him, it's just another adventure. Rose is kind of secondary at this moment in time. He is almost just showing off. He's been alone for so long. He's been through this terrible time war. Gallifrey's dead. Time Lords are dead. And then he's finally got somebody to do what he's done before. To pomp and circumstance with. And he's really bad at it. And he's really rusty at it. And it shines through. And I love it. I love it. So Rose gets told basically to just do one. Just go and chill out, Rose. She goes into they're trying to go down to the engine room, and she talks about how the scans picked up that he was actually Time Lord, and that she's really sorry about what happened to his planet. Rose decides to speak to Cassandra. Billie Piper was gorgeous, isn't she? Absolutely gorgeous. She still is, but you know, when you just got these lovely close-ups with great lighting, she's got lovely hair, lovely eyes, lovely face. Lovely, very, very pretty girl. Very, very pretty girl. So she's speaking to Cassandra, and Cassandra's just like bitching away, and Rose, Rose gives it some lungs here, and I like it. She's just like, you're not human. You know, you've had every bit of humanity stripped away from you. You've had it nipped and tucked and all this kind of stuff. I'd rather die like this as a human being than live like you. What does she call it? A bitchy trampoline. Some great, like I said, just some great lines. Some bitchy trampoline. And then Cassandra's just like, whatever. This is where they talk about the Time War. The tree tries to console the Doctor. They've got these big turbines. The repeated meme, knock out Rose and dump her in the room that she's in before. When I say this is a cheap episode, this is clearly one of the episodes where they wanted to rein back on the cost, you know, for later on in the series, particularly when they're going to do all the Dalek stuff towards the end of the series. But it's fine, you know, the use of the same room over and over again, it's fine because it's so well written and the story's a great little story. Basic, you know, nothing too complicated. It's never meant to be too complicated because it's about the alienness, the separation between the Doctor's character and Rose's character, the human and the Time Lord, which starts to be worked on at the end. So everyone's gathered up in the main room and Rose is trapped. The Doctor tries to get her out. Where am I going to go, Ipswich? The heat shield is deactivated in the room. The Doctor uses the sonic slowly, not like now where everything's just like fixed it. He's going through settings, he's doing this, he's doing that. So at least it made the sonic not look like a Deus Ex Machina, that it was a tool to try and be used at those times. Then we get the Doctor coming in to the room where they're going to find out. Oh, they weren't going down to the engine room just yet. Where they're going to find out who's responsible for these little robots. So the little robots go to Cassandra, but then they go off to the repeated meme. But then the Doctor exposes that the repeated meme are actually just robots. And so when he deactivates the repeated meme, the little robot, then goes and scurries off back to Cassandra, and it's revealed that Cassandra is the person who is trying to do this. I can't remember what her motivations were. I must have zoned out a little bit at some point, because I don't know why she actually did this. Compensation, money, fame, fortune. Probably something along those sort of lines. I don't know. Anyway. So she teleports away, even though it's been established that teleportation's a no-no, not allowed to do that. And then the Doctor goes down to the engine room. The heat's rising. Because this is a descendant from trees, she sacrifices herself so the Doctor can try and get through the turbines. And he gets through to the last turbine, and then the tree explodes, bursts into flames because it's wood, heat, wood, not a good combination. And so the last turbine is just spinning at a massive pace. And this is where we get another kind of payoff to the episode Rose, where the Doctor says, I can feel the turning of the Earth. I can feel the rotation. I can feel, how fast we're spinning and all that. Because he closes his eyes and you can see, you can tell that he's getting the spin of the turbine and the speed of the turbine. And then just very calmly steps through it when he knows he has his window. It's a nice little bit. Turns off the thingamajiggy, reactivates the shields. The Earth explodes, but everyone's saved. But, well, there were a couple of aliens that got zapped in the main room. Rose was locked in the other room and just manages to scrape by. So the Doctor comes in, and this is where we see the angry Doctor, the vengeance of the Time Lord. And he's just like, he sees that people have died. The little blue guy, the tree. We know that at least 2 of the technicians, the steward and the plumber, were also killed. So at least 4 people have died because of Cassandra. And he comes in, he's just like, you're right, to Rose. And she's like, yeah. And he's just like, oh, yeah, are you all right? Yeah, I got ideas. I'm brimming full of ideas. And you can just see that he's going on one. So he literally starts putting everything together. If she's teleported away, she can't teleport away through that amount of heat. There has to be some sort of connected device. It's got to be nearby. She had the ostrich egg at the beginning. Bang, cracks open the ostrich egg. Got the connection. If you're as smart as me, you can reverse it. Boosh, bang, quick, foo. Reverses the teleportation, brings Cassandra back. But it just brings Cassandra back, doesn't bring her moisturizing guys. And because she's raised the temperature of the space station, she dries out, and the Doctor is just willing to let her go. And then Rose is just like, please, help her. And this is where we get, again, the alienness of the Doctor, the damaged Doctor, because he just says, everything has its time, everything dies. And then Cassandra explodes. And Rose realizes that, yeah, he's alien, and yeah, there is something going on with him. There is problems here. So, Rose talks about, everything gone. 5 billion years in the future. Human race, all everything's dead. And she's getting melancholy, and the Doctor's like, come on, follow me. Follow me. Takes her by the hand. It's a lovely moment. Takes her by the hand, goes back into the TARDIS, and takes her back to current day, where the planet is bristling full of people. There's life everywhere. Taking it in, and then he opens up to her. And he says, my planet died like Earth dies. It burned, but it burned long before its time. I'm a Time Lord. I'm the last of the Time Lords. They're all dead. I'm the last one here. And he's like, this is, everything's dangerous. Do you want to keep traveling with me? And Rose is shocked. She doesn't know. She literally doesn't know what to do. And she's like, I want, because everything's just on top of her right now. He's opened up to her. He's explained that he's the last of his species. And then she's just like, I can smell chips. I want chips. And it's just such a great break in the tension and the severity of what's been explained and told to her here. And so the Doctor's like, yeah, I can smell chips too. She's like, oh, and then, well, you're buying. And he's just like, no money. I'm a Time Lord. I got no money. Got no cash on me. So she's like, well, you're a tight one, aren't you? You're a tight date. And she calls him a date. because there is going to be a budding romance. And I think Rose actually thought of this as a kind of first date. Which, even though she's dating Ricky, we know that she's Mickey. Ricky's the one from the parallel universe. Even though she's dating Mickey, she's not happy. You know, he's the right now, and the Doctor is the future. And so they go off to get chips, and that's where it ends. And yeah, it's not quite as good as Rose, but I personally really like this episode. Because although it has a very simple story, to me, it's about two alien people trying to find a commonality, trying to find a connection between each other, trying to understand each other. And the kind of tragedy almost of this is they understand each other by the destructions of the respective planets. Rose gets to see Earth destroyed, nobody there, the last of the humans, Cassandra, bang, dead. She feels like the last human alive now. And the Doctor, of course, is the last of the Time Lords. Ish. At this present moment. So I think it's a very sad, ultimately sad episode. But it's a great episode as well. Because they find something to bond about. The alien and the human find something to bond. Even if it's in tragedy. So I like it. I would probably give this a solid 7.5 out of 10. Maybe 8 if I was feeling a little bit generous. And it's just a great little episode. So, hope you enjoyed the vid. If you did, do give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel. Follow me on social media and Twitch for live streaming links. They'll be in the description box down below. Episode 3 next Sunday. I'll be back with some more stuff very soon. You take care. Bye for now.